The Mexican monster, David Benavidez. You've shared some rings with him. Um, he's got a big fight coming up against David Morrell, and the winner of that looks like fighting the winner of Bivol versus Beterbiev. So it's a really a lot on the line for Benavidez. Just talking about him because he seems to be somebody who is avoided, somebody who's had to move up in weight to get the shots that he feels he deserves. What's he like in the gym?
Honestly, he's a beast. I got another, like David's a monster. He puts in the work. Um, he he like I remember the first time when I sparred with him, his first day in camp, like sparring, like I did like 12 rounds right away, and I was just really impressed with how many rounds he could do. Like some guys, oh, I'm gonna start off with 8 rounds. Some rounds I'm gonna start off with 6 rounds. But that guy, he did 12 rounds like the first day of sparring, and it was just pretty cool. And yeah, I was like, I think that was pretty dope that he did that. He can go 12 rounds right away, and he could go 15 rounds. Honestly, I seen him do it too. Like he'll have like four different guys in there, four, 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 three. He would always switch it up. It was pretty impressive. Even for him being as big as he is, like, because when he's first in the gym for a fight, he's bloated. He's a big boy. He gains a lot of weight, and he's still fast. He could still go a lot of rounds. Um, so I think that fight's going to be definitely a good fight. Him and Morale. I just think David has too much experience over him right now, and too much, like, a lot of confidence. Um, he's never really been he's been dropped, definitely. He's been dropped for sure, but I never seen him really in any kind of like real trouble. In any of his fights, and he's taken some tough fights. Obviously he wants Canelo, but everyone thinks he's just after Canelo for a payday. But obviously him stepping up to 175 now, fighting Morale, I think that's gonna like show a lot of people that he's not here for just a payday. He's here for respect. He's here for the legacy and all that comes with it.
You mentioned about it, in the first day of sparring, he's doing 12 rounds. And at that point, he's at his heaviest. He's probably the most unfit he will be throughout that whole camp. Does that just show a little bit into his mindset and mentality?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, like he's always been a big kid, um, since he was little, I guess. So it's like I think the when he comes into camp heavy, it's like he changes into a different mode. He knows that all right, it's time to really push, and he pushes in camp like sparring. He's cool. Like I remember the first time I sparred him, um, we went 6 rounds, and then the first couple of rounds I was tagging him up with everything, like a lot of shots. Like I was hitting him, and then after like the fifth round, I would say the fifth and sixth, I was already tired. I was like probably like 2 years ago, and then I was already getting tired, and then he got me on the ropes, and then that's when he lets his combinations go. And you're tired, and then after the sparring, we were talking, and I would always ask questions or just try to get like, hey, what could I do better, or something like that. I always try to get some kind of game from these guys. And he tells me, he's like, like a lot of guys, they come into these sparrings or even with the fights with me. He was like, and everybody has adrenaline the first 2 rounds, 3 rounds. He was like, so they're coming out with everything they got. He was like, and that's when I got to stay calm because this is a 12-round fight. He was like, and if I don't stay calm, then they could catch me early if I try to open up with something. He was like, so he kind of lets them let their momentum die down a little bit. And then the second half of the sparring or the fight, that's when the real fight starts, when you're tired and your adrenaline calmed down. So I thought that was pretty cool to learn from him too. And now I take that into sparring, like, and I notice it now, like when I spar with guys that are not like world class level, they'll come out with the first 2 rounds all hard on me, and I'm just right there staying calm, poking them with the jab, countering them, and then once they're tired, I take them into deep waters. So I think that's going to be the same kind of thing he's going to do to Morale. I think honestly, like Morale didn't really look too good his last fight versus that guy Hot Rod, I think his name was. Um, I think he did okay. I mean, he did what he had to do, but I still think that David's a different type of fighter than Hot Rod. The pressure, the power, the speed, the mindset. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good fight because I know it's definitely gonna bring morale to another level. I know he knows like don't try to judge me off of my last fight. I know he's gonna push a whole different level for sure for this type of fight. But I'm just I'm being one of the ones that are kind of judging him off of his last fight. To this fight, I don't think he's gonna do as well versus Benavides as he thinks. But it's definitely going to be a good fight. I'm excited for this fight. And then this is like a real fight right here. I feel like that deserves to be mandatory for number one for better beef or Bivol winner out of that. You know?
Do you think with Benavidez, obviously you sparred him, you sparred Bivol as well. If let's say it's those two who fight, do you think Benavidez could beat Bivol?
I mean, anybody could, anything's possible for sure. But my opinion, I think Bivol wins just because of discipline, his footwork. Um, like I said, when I sparred Benavidez, I was tagging him up with the jabs. I was tagging him up with footwork. It wasn't until I got tired on the ropes is when he was catching me with shots. And I think Bivol is not going to sit on the ropes. And if he does sit on the ropes, it's going to be a quick turn out of there. And I think Benavidez is going to be trying to chase him down and start getting caught with shots that he shouldn't be. Because I don't think Benavidez is the type of pressure as Better Beef has, type of power Better Beef has to walk him down, you know? Um, so I don't know. I mean, these guys sparred each other before. I didn't get to watch it, but I know Bivol's people, and and I think they said that he wasn't really like going crazy on Benavidez. Benavidez was. Bivol was more working on certain things. But a fight game is different with 10-ounce gloves. I think Bivol, like when he would spar certain guys when he was getting ready for Canelo, it was like he wasn't really like doing crazy trying to knock this guy out. He was just kind of like floating through sparring, working on certain things he wanted to work on. And then when the fight happened versus Canelo, he turned it up to another level. So I think it's the same kind of thing he's gonna do with Benavidez. He spars, he goes cool, but then when the 10-ounce gloves come on and it's real, that's when you really see the Bivol that people don't see in sparring.
Going back to Benavides, you mentioned about how he will bide his time, he'll wait, he'll be patient until his opponent is the gas tank's running on the low, essentially. Does that sort of give an insight into his boxing IQ and how his brain works in terms of reading a fighter and reading a fight?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, he grew up in it since he was a kid. His brother was a good fighter, when he had his time. So I mean, he's been around it for a long time. So he's definitely got a good IQ or a good knowledge of boxing when it comes down to it. Um, so I think so. I think he's gonna shock a lot of people. He could box, even when he fought Alexander, what was his name? The other Ukraine guy he just beat. That was a tough fight for him. I mean, but that guy was a big guy too. That guy was like the Dimitri Bivol before Bivol came. Before Better beat him. That guy was the guy at light heavyweight. So I think it's a good fight for sure for David to fight somebody real power now.
No, definitely. Angel, I want to thank you very much for your time. Been a real pleasure speaking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.